Good morning, guys. I'm here in the backyard of our store. We've installed some raised beds back here last fall, and I just filled them up with some dirt and mixed in some compost. I'm going to be planting these with some cold weather plants, cold weather veggie plants that we want to sell in our farm store. The hope is that we can grow enough in these 5 beds to give ourselves vegetables, but also sell the surplus in the store. So that's what I'll be doing today. Later in the video, I'll be planting seed potatoes down in our other plot. I've got a bunch of Pinto Gold, which is a baby, like a fingerling potato. So let's get started. I'm going to start by getting this all raked out and smooth. I just kind of did an initial leveling of the soil. I haven't really sorted out any of the debris that's in the compost. It's fairly fine, but I want to get it nice and smooth. So I have a nice flat bed to start with here, and get any weeds out of it too. There were a few roots that I noticed as I was pouring this in, so I'll just sort those out. It's actually really nice soil. Composted chicken manure and greenhouse plants that we threw away at the end of the season that have been composting for a full year. So it's some pretty nice compost. And I mixed in some, it's about 50-50 screened topsoil. Should give us a really nice bed. We had one bed back here before that we planted herbs in, which is over there. Worked out well for us last year. Nice having it right out the back door of the store because we can get things to people the freshest they could possibly be. And pick them the day we sell them. Our goal is to grow more and more of our own produce here every year. There's just 2 of us, so we've had a lot going on and it's a lot to manage, but we're making a good solid attempt at this year. I've got some sugar snap peas to plant, beets, radishes. I'll be doing white Lisbon bunching onions, which is a green onion for like salads and nacho toppings and that kind of thing. Anywhere you would need a green onion. We eat a lot of green onions when we have them, so we'll be definitely enjoying those too. I'll get all this debris raked off the beds, and then I'll go around with a rake and get it all cleaned up. I'd like to put some bark mulch in between the beds too, just so I don't have to run the weed eater down these in the summertime once things start growing. Just make it a little easier to maintain it, and essentially just have to water it and pull any weeds that come up. This will be the first bed that I plant. This is where the cold, these are things that are on average 2 months start to finish roughly. And then I'll be planting later in the season. I'll be planting some other crops in this space, like bush beans, things like that. They don't take too long. So this will kind of be a bed that gets a lot of crops rotated through it that are quick growing. Some of the other beds I'll be doing tomatoes and peppers, and we'll be trellising some cucumbers in here later in the season. Right now we're still getting frost. We got a pretty good frost this morning. It's April 21st. So these have to be cold tolerant plants. We have a snowbird sugar snap pea, which doesn't require a trellis, but I'll probably put some bamboo stakes in it anyway, just to support them if they need it. They only get about 18 inches high. I've never grown this variety before. We have a German Ostergrub radish, which is like almost like a carrot configuration, which is pretty cool. Thought maybe that would do well. We like them in salads, so it'd be good for us. And got a couple different varieties of potatoes that we'll be starting in our other plot later. Haven't really done any spring cleanup here yet this year, so there's a lot of just kind of built up debris here, so I'd like to get that kind of cleaned up around these as I go. And then, like I said, I've got a big pile of bark mulch that a tree service dropped off for us. Wood chips, essentially, that I'll be putting down. Probably lay some cardboard in between the aisleways here in these beds and really get it mulched really heavy. Now to get started here, I like nice straight lines, especially in small beds like this. So I'm just gonna string line it with a piece of string and keep it as straight as I possibly can. It's not super important, it's just something I like to pay some attention to. I'll be planting the peas. Peas I'll be planting first. Once they come up, I will do the bamboo stakes. Just gonna make a little channel right down the string line. And these I can plant them 2 inches apart and then thin them, I think, to 6 inches apart, I think is what it says on the pack. So that's what I'll do, because I'm sure we got a lot of birds around here. I'm sure I'll lose some to birds. It actually says to plant them 1 inch deep, so I'm going to go a little deeper with my channel. Of course, I can push them down into the soil a little bit too as I do this. Our goal is to have crops that we like to eat, that we can also sell in the store. I really all about self-sufficiency. I would like to be 100% self-sufficient, but we're not there yet. Hoping to someday be there. It's a lot of work, for sure. It's like I've said before about the raising our own meat chickens. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding work. It's always nice to be able to eat food that you grew, and you know exactly where it comes from, what went into it, and just the taste is so much better than anything that you would get in the store. Started out cold. It was pretty cold this morning. We had frost again. It's been progressively getting warmer, but things that I plant now really need to be able to take being frosted, because it could frost, you know, mid-May really around here. About a month away really from our last threat of frost. To make sure that I mark these, I'm going to do one row for now, and probably in a couple weeks I'll plant another row. Once I get everything planted, I'll water this all in. Trying to plant things that, like I said, that we like to eat. And as far as the market garden, selling in our farm store, try to do varieties that that aren't as common. It's one of the reasons, you know, sugar snap peas, these radishes are different from what you typically would get in the store. They're like a long carrot type configuration to the root for slicing. Baby potatoes, they're just there's more margin on those if you're doing a market garden, things like that, because you can buy, you know, big potatoes for really cheap. They're not necessarily going to be organic or all natural, but potatoes and onions, you know, full-size regular varieties are cheap to buy, and we have a limited amount of space, so I'm just trying to grow stuff that's more expensive for us to buy. We work with various farms around the region in our farm store and pull produce in from them. And you know, I can tell you baby potatoes in particular are very expensive to buy, especially organic ones like these. So that's the idea. We'll just keep kind of to the boutique varieties, things that there's a higher profit margin on. Heirloom varieties of tomatoes we like to grow. You know, one of my favorites is Brandywine. Then we've got some, you know, regular like beefsteak and early girls and stuff like that too, and cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes, especially when you get into the colored varieties, can be profitable. Nice sweet cherry tomatoes in a salad, there's nothing like it. All right, the next thing that I'm planting here is a white Lisbon bunching onion. I'm not going to plant all of these. This is a 128 tray full of them. Typically you plant them in clumps and just harvest them when they're, you know, tall enough for whatever you want to use them for. So it's like the typical green onion that you would buy in the store in bunches. Really good tasting. We grew these last year and we really liked them, so we're doing them again. So I'll pop a bunch of these out and get them in the ground. Doing one row of these. There's a couple different varieties of carrots too that I'm going to put in this bed. They're about a 55-day harvest time on those. I forgot my tool to get these out of here, so I just got to grab that. Just to save myself some time, I saved myself a trip back up to the greenhouse here, so I just grabbed a stick, and it works pretty good too. Just pop these all out. Plant these, you know, probably about 4 inches apart roughly, right down the length of this bed. And if there's any singles like this one, I'll just plant that with another one that doesn't have as many, because I'd like to keep it at 3 or 4 in each planting. These also will tolerate frost and cold weather. They grow really well in cold weather. We'll be building some cattle panel trellises that will wrap over a couple of these beds in an archway. So that'll be a fun project, so stay tuned for that one. Cucumbers grow really well on trellises, and we've also got the loofah gourds that we're going to try to grow here too, which is it's a southern plant, so that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And these I'm planting fairly close to the edge of the bed because they don't take up a lot of room. Onions are very tolerant of being disrupted, so you can actually, if you need to, you can, like I just did here, I actually separated one out and just dropped it in there bare root, and that's perfectly fine. They'll recover from that without a problem at all. The other advantage of having this bed so close to the store, we can keep pests out of it, or try to, a little easier because we're right here all the time, and watering it will be not an issue. There's a hose spigot about 10 feet away from me right now, so we got that. All those advantages, this should do really well. And the compost, we keep multiple compost piles going every year, and I'll probably do a video on that at some point. We've had really good success with our compost here. Actually, for the first time, we've used it in our perennials, making our perennial mix. We keep several piles going because the majority of it is chicken manure, and we get a lot of it. It's very high in nitrogen, so it's got to break down for a year before you can really use it without burning your plants. I've had it happen in the past. I don't know, leave a comment if you've done this. In the past, I have not labeled things and just put like a rock to mark the end of the row, and then forgotten what I planted there, so I'm going to mark both ends of this row. I mean, after a while you've kind of figured it out, but if you're planting a lot of stuff, a lot of times it can get mixed up and you don't know what's what. And we are on to carrots. We're going to plant carrots next. I'll probably go fairly close to the onions because these onions, when they get up about 16 inches high or something, they'll be harvested and it'll give room to the carrots to grow. They'll probably take a little bit longer than the onions, so just to make sure that we don't have overcrowding. Trying to squeeze a lot into a small bed, so trying to think ahead. And you got to kind of do that when you're working in small spaces to what's going to be ready and what you can be harvesting to give things that take a little longer a little more room. Now I've got two different varieties of carrots here. I've got a Danvers 126 and a short and sweet. I'm going to do a row of each. Plenty of seeds here. I can do successive plantings of these too if I'd like. Nice loose soil, and carrots like well-drained loose soil. Should do really well. This is the Danvers 126, which is a 7 to 8.5 inch sweet carrot. Nothing like a carrot from the garden. Carrots that have been sitting. I mean, we buy organic carrots into the store that are really good, but don't get me wrong, they're definitely really good, but carrots fresh from the garden are sweeter and crunchier, and there's nothing like it. Try to do a couple seeds every 2 inches or so. I think next I will do a row of the radishes and then do another row of carrots. Anytime you're planting seeds, try to get the right depth, but most importantly, you don't want to squash the soil down. You want to compact it. Just gently pat it firmly into place and then water it in. You don't want to water it with anything that's going to wash your seeds away, so you want to have a nice fine shower of water on them and just make sure the soil stays moist. You don't want it oversaturated, but you also don't want it getting super dry. I'm excited about these radishes. It's a I don't know if I'm saying this right, it's a German variety, it's a heritage variety, Ostergrub rosa. It's a red on the outside and white and pink on the inside, and it looks like a carrot. Looks like a red carrot. I have enough seeds here to do successive plantings of this as well. So this bed will kind of be rotated in continuous use all summer of various things. So I'm going to use this as my bed that I don't have just one crop in. I can plant things that are seasonal. May do some lettuce if I have room. We'll have tomatoes and peppers in one of these beds. Cucumbers, zucchini, yellow squash, a few different varieties of peppers. I think I'll do some cayennes again. I like doing smoked cayenne peppers. You dry them out in the smoker and then grind them up. It makes a really good seasoning. Tastes really good. If you like spice, that's a good one. And they don't really take very long in the smoker. Just kind of keeps some low smoke on them, and they'll keep in a jar. I put them in a mason jar, grind them up, and you never really have enough, but it's really good. I don't know if the microphone is picking it up or not, but the peeper frogs are behind me. We have an old pond that it's more of a swamp now that would like to get filled in the future. We've been filling it in a little bit at a time, but it's nice in springtime to hear those peeper frogs going down there. They'll always be a little kind of wet strip through the back side of our property here because we have a drainage ditch that runs down through there, but I'd like to fill in the majority of it and put another greenhouse in there eventually. That's the plan, long-term plan. And now I got one more row of carrots to do, and that will probably do it for this bed for right now. I may intermittently kind of plant some romaine in between things after it comes up, just to get some salad greens for us. Probably won't sell those in the store. I like romaine, so I'll probably plant a few of those wherever I can kind of squeeze them in later. And hopefully with any luck we don't have poison ivy mixed into our compost, because where our compost pile is, we do have some poison ivy that tends to come up there. So I'm hoping I got all the roots out, but I'll be keeping an eye out for that because I don't want to get that. Yeah, this next variety of carrot is called short and sweet. It's bred especially for heavy or shallow soils, and they're sweet flavored 4-inch roots, bright orange. 68 days to harvest on this one. And I've got plenty of seeds again on this one to do successive plantings. I may actually pull them sooner than their full maturity date. We like baby carrots. I like to just eat them raw. And carrots, for anybody that doesn't know, carrots keep really well. I've had really good luck before just putting them in a box of damp sawdust away from light, and they keep really well. Our tomatoes are already growing up in the greenhouse. They'll be ready to come out as soon as the danger of frost is past. Our garlic has come up nicely too. For anybody that hasn't seen that video, planted garlic last fall. I'll have that linked right up top where you can check that out. Our garlic, I'll be up there later in this video actually planting the potatoes, because they're going in right next to the garlic. So you'll see that in a bit. That you plant in the fall, and it has to be in the ground over winter. I mean, or it should be for the best crop. It's mulched heavily with straw, and then they kind of grow up through the straw in the spring. I don't even have to remove it, and it acts as a weed barrier. We really like growing garlic. We've done that for a lot of years. Just realized I forgot to label the second row of carrots, so I'll have to do that. Now I'm choosing the watering can in this case because it's a little finer stream than our wand on our hose that I have with me today, so that's why I'm using the watering can. Most of our good watering wands are up at the greenhouse, and I just don't feel like walking. All right, well that's it for this bed. And now we'll head up and get the potatoes started. to get started, I'm just going to pop out any of the weeds that kind of came back up. I'm not planning on tilling this. I'm trying to till as little as possible this year. Past 2 years, this was 2 years ago, this was open field with a lot of sod, so we had to till it. We covered it with weed barrier though. Smooth some of this stuff out. We covered it with weed barrier to kill the weeds for a couple months, and then gave it a couple of really good tillings with compost. And now we have a good bed here. Grew tomatoes in it last year. Had some success with that. I've actually got horseradish here on this end, so I'm not going to obviously plant potatoes there. But to get started, these got to be 2 to 3 inches deep. So I'm just going to make a row. I'm not going to use a string this time. I'm just going to try to keep it somewhat straight. And then I'll hill the dirt up over it as they grow with the hoe. I don't have a lot of these, but this is a Pinto Gold that we ordered from Harris Seed. And I've cut them. It says to plant them 12 inches apart with the eyes facing up. So I'm just going to follow the directions in this case and plant them about 12 inches apart. A pound of sweet seed potatoes really doesn't seem to give you very much, and they are about $22 a pound. So the other ones that we're planting today are also a Pinto Gold, but they're organic potatoes that went bad that we had in the store, so they're still viable for planting. So that's what I'm going to do with them to use them. These I want to make sure that I mark. Actually, these are Pinto Gold from Johnny's Seeds, not Harris Seed. They're a delicious yellow, like almost buttery potato. They're so good roasted. I mean, no matter how you cook them, they're super good. We love them. The only reason I'm separating them is I want to see if the seed variety does any better than the just the organic potatoes that were meant for human consumption. And where this row stops, I'm just noting that they're leftover potatoes. I tend to forget things if I don't label them. These covered really well with some dirt. And as these grow, any potato you want to hill them up to keep the tubers from getting exposed to sunlight, and it makes them produce more. These soil knives are great for this type of thing if you gotta loosen up the soil, get them a little deeper or anything like that. I will put the Amazon link to this particular one in the description if you're interested. It's probably gonna be a battle with the weeds this summer trying to keep them out of here, but once these take off, they should suppress the weeds a little bit. Potatoes are another one that you can plant as soon as the ground can be tilled. Probably actually a little on the late side with these, but it's okay. They'll still do fine. And when you cut the potatoes, the larger potatoes you can cut in pieces. You want 2 to 3 eyes on every piece, but you want to cut them a few days before you plant them and allow that cut edge to kind of skin over a little bit, and that makes it so they don't rot as quickly. Now this is also a Pinto Gold. These are the ones that were left over in the store that I'm planting. I'm not cutting these, I'm just going to plant them whole because they're a little bit soft. They're already sprouting pretty good. It looks like I'll actually have a lot more down at the store too I can plant. like to get 3 rows in. Same as the seeds, just a gentle pat once you get them in there. Just push the soil over them and tamp it down a little bit. Not pack it down, but just tamp it down. I've always had really good luck with potatoes, but I've always grown the regular varieties like the Yukon Gold and the red ones for storing. This is the first time I've ever tried a gourmet baby potato. Hoping they do well. And it's pretty easy to, once these start to come up, just to run down the row with a hoe and kind of do this alongside the row and pull that soft dirt up over the top of them. And then as they come up, you just keep doing that until you got a good hill. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is lay down some cardboard in between these aisleways and then bury it in mulch just to kind of reduce our maintenance here this summer. Cardboard works well, it biodegrades underneath, but it kills the weeds in the meantime. I'm not sure if I have enough cardboard, but I'm going to put down what I have and then get some mulch down here just to kind of get this ready. Looks like I have just enough for now. I may put more later, but I'll get this covered, and next week I'll do a little more when I have more cardboard. There. Now as we get more cardboard, I'll run it around the edges too and get the whole thing mulched in all the way around so we don't have to battle weeds. There'll probably still be some weeds coming up, but this definitely will help a lot. I did it in the strawberries last year and it worked great in between the aisleways. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I'm really excited to start growing for the season, get things going outside, and really looking forward to these seeds sprouting and my potatoes coming up, and just the summer in general. It's my favorite season. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Have a great day.